Good evening, all, and welcome to the Russell Camp Presents show. This is time slot's going to be either called off duty or after hours because it's going to be our relaxation time where we can chat about stuff, talk about what's going on in sci-fi, and just have fun.
And we don't have to do PG 18. So keep it clean.
So we're going to do a little bit cleaner of a thing and hopefully get some families and different people in. Our first show, we figured we'd talk about what our plans are for the camp's broadcast group. One of the people that's going to be working with us, he's trying to get us some graphics artists in the community in a couple of colleges to help out, is Harvey. He's picking up his partner, and he might be back on. We just talked to him a minute ago. And we got from the Andromeda.
The Andromeda, temporarily stationed on the Haven, is Alvin. He's also going to help. He's in college actually to learn graphics work, so he'll be willing to help. And he said, only if I can use what you're going to do for classwork. And we're like, best homework in the world, because then your teacher can also see it being used.
So we're reaching out to people in the community now. One of our goals is to continue growing our, we call it, we joke about it being a little task force, a recruiting task force. And what we've been doing, as Richard's seen over the last year, is we go to a con, but we don't go as just one chapter. We go as 3 to 4 chapters and try and work together to help each other. So we want to continue that and work with other chapters to build that camaraderie and group up so that eventually we're doing kind of like the 501st. Instead of being one city's group, a whole region comes together to make a display that attracts more people. You saw on the network a couple pictures that Jess showed between the Klingon group and SFI and one other Star Trek group. We actually had over 30 people at Sci-Fi Bartow. Our booth alone had 28 people between the Klingons and Starfleet, and we had an 80-foot display.
That's impressive.
So as opposed to the 501st Tampa Garrison brought out a
city
block, they brought out 78 members. So for us, we just started a few years ago really ramping up, and now to have almost 30 people at a convention like this and be able to put on the display that large, I'll tell you, it's a lot of work.
So we start saving now so that we can get Richard a ticket for next year.
Yeah, I'd love Richard to come down. But
once he gets in the sun, he may not want to leave, but that's all right. We'll find a place for him.
I don't have all the pictures downloaded, but all you got to do is look up Sci-Fi Bartow and you will find thousands of pictures. Just when we took the picture and I got to witness the 501st go up, their group filled the stairs, and then Star Trek filled the exact same area of the stairs. So the theme was boldly go. One of my things was, I'm going to get Darth Vader on our transporter. Me and Drew made friends with the Darth Vader. I still don't know his name.
Darth.
But we walked over and talked to him when they were setting up. We took a moment between our setup, which took between 6:30 and 11. we worked hard to get that all together, but we just talked to him and we said, hey, we've got a transporter room photo op set up. We got a couple other photo ops. He goes, later on when I'm not busy, I'm going to walk over and check it out.
So not only did he get a picture of him on the transporter, but he got a picture of him on a transporter holding a Mark III B phaser rifle.
No, that was the Jedi.
We also got one here.
I don't remember seeing that one.
Someone else who got it, but I've seen it.
Oh.
I thought it was hilarious. Because that shows, we're willing to work together. The whole idea, we've been told that if we can make sets similar to the Star Wars group, we can have an entire block ourselves. Well, from 80 to 197 feet, I'm willing to take that risk.
I'm not without another 50 feet.
But you see that there's the catch. The fleet has to be willing to, secondly, to our region, has to be willing to step up.
Can I be permitted a question?
Sure.
How much is a block? Ballpark, you can round it up. I'm just curious.
How big is the block?
No, how much is it?
Or to purchase?
Yeah.
We won't.
Oh, you just got to fill the space. Is that
zero?
I am envious.
The 501st and us are
community service
groups.
So
okay, I get it.
And we're also cosplay groups, so they give us a 10 by 10 space.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, come on in.
You gotta send Steve the link. Might as well. Hold on. My problem is, hold on, he dropped out of the other chat, so let me find him real quick. So they look at us as oh, he's at work. Sorry. Okay, Steve. So they look at us as 1, we're cosplayers. 2, we do community service. And 3, we spent over the last year
894 hours.
Well, that's setting up.
That was just me.
But we spent the last year on average 2 to 4 hours a month going out to advertise for them.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I mean, my group is less service, more donation, and therefore at our local con, our table costs us money.
I think 10 by 10 booth was $65 or $70.
Yeah, I'm paying at Calgary Edmonton or Entertainment Expo. I think we are paying $11.50.
Wow, I think the booths inside were what, 140?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it depends what con you're doing. Like when we go to Volcon in Vulcan, Alberta, Canada this year, that table will cost us $60. But it's also an event with 1,500 people.
Yeah,
right.
We had 30,000 people,
which is really good. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, Calgary is usually about 100.
Yeah,
100.
I mean, we normally get to. As funny as it sounds, the last time I checked, Calgary was still, for attendance, the biggest entertainment and comic expo in Western Canada.
It should still be.
So, yeah.
It was last time I read anything about it.
I figure at some point we're going to lose to Vancouver now that Vancouver has a con in February.
Yeah.
like just like a numbers situation of potential draw, right? I mean, it's a city. It's a
Calgary has a long history of putting on incredible shows, not just cons, but horsemanship, equestrian, rodeo.
yeah. And to be honest, we have the con down at the Stampede grounds.
Right. So I mean,
We just don't use the Stampede part.
It's not like Calgary hasn't already built a reputation of we're the best. It doesn't matter. We're still the best.
Yeah. So well,
they're going to have to come after that hard if they're even going to get close. At least that's my opinion.
And how hard they will is dependent because of the fact that it's all owned by the same people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because
see, my idea is if we can get enough brains working together and some people willing to take a weekend cruise down to Winter Haven, help us build sets and what have you, we could do that. And then, the promoters and the venue operators have told us, the biggest thing that we got going for us is we were willing to do backup security for the police department.
Oh, okay.
And they literally were in love with the idea.
Cool.
Because we set forward a set of rules that these are what you're supposed to do.
Wrong one.
That wrong one.
Wrong screen.
You're supposed to share the screen.
No, I went to the wrong screen. There was 2 different screens. Let me try this again.
Production.
It's been a while.
Go to window. There you go.
This was the block party the night before.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm like, those are the Jeeping with Joe guys.
The upper right-hand corner of that photo, upper right-hand, the block on that side, all the way to the corners, 97 feet. We had 85 of it.
Wow.
Yeah, we were at the end on the right-hand side, and where the that area was filled with Star Trek, or I'm sorry,
that's
Star Wars was where that right top road is.
Okay.
So, like I said, they had a large thing. They brought a giant cube truck and almost 80 people to unload sets. Our setup crew was like 6 to 10. By the end of the day, we were like, check, please.
And that's okay. We'll do it again immediately.
Not to knock the 501st Badlands, who have an elaborate setup that they do for Make-A-Wish here in Calgary. They do have a wonderful elaborate set that we normally try to sneak a tribble in, because that's a running joke, is to put a tribble in one of the scenes.
Right.
It's sometimes hard to get it not crowded enough to slip in. So, quite often we find a junior officer and go, "Yeah, you figure it out."
Yeah.
Because we don't care if it's not a big thing if they get caught. I mean,
so I walked up to the one girl and just was like, we did the parade with her and all, and she always does the Jedi thing. I said, I got to trade your lightsaber for the phaser rifle. And I took a picture of it with it. I've got to transfer it over. But it was one of those things of my 2 goals was a Jedi with the phaser rifle to do the crossover, and Darth Vader on the transporter.
I've got a map. I have to admit that such kinds of pictures are always fun for me. I have a Mal jacket.
Yeah,
like a Mal Reynolds jacket. And I have a picture of me with a Han Solo with me on the Mal jacket, and I'm wearing a brown shirt that I have Mal Reynolds on it that says "I shoot first."
So we labeled the trailer. It actually says Second Fleet now.
Cool.
But that trailer had our transporter room. It had both MSDs. It had the Klingons battle chair. What else was in there?
With the Klingon battle chair, we had
the
4 small tables. We had 3 pieces of the.
I was
of
thinking the other
transporter
display.
room. We had 2 other small display boxes. We had boxes, red packet, little packing boxes.
Pattern enhancers. That's what it
Table
was.
uses for all of this stuff back here. We had pattern enhancers that we had made. We had a whole lot of shit.
I think one of the more the disadvantage about us being an urban group and a number of us living in very tight living situations is just the sheer amount of, not necessarily that we are not creative and want to build set pieces, but just a sheer amount of, realistically, where can we use them other than Vulcan?
It's the
And
necessary.
where are we
real
going
estate.
to store it all?
It's the necessary real estate. At the end of the day, that's your issue.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to say the most useful display that we have is the MSD stand, which I want to see if I can find the picture already on my face.
Yeah, I'd love to, because all I'm thinking of is a binder with a bunch of information about hazardous chemicals. Sorry, I'm in oil and gas.
These are on our trailer.
Well, those are pretty.
Let me get it closer. It's a clean. It's a sticker.
Oh, those are nice.
You know, it's the Region 2 logo.
But I'm trying to get a good picture of the MSD stands that they built real quick.
Right.
Because they're literally a 4 foot by 2.5 foot board connected to PVCs, pipes that can be collapsed down to a very small area. So it can be stored like in the back of a trunk.
Well, that's good.
And the other thing is it can be lit up.
Oh, that's always nice.
Okay. I'm pulling it up now.
Oh, and then there's my latest purchase.
And that stand right there has 2 shelves, so you can put all your books on it, all your displays, everything on it. You put the QR code in a corner, and at that point, you have one item that you take with one red tote, and you're set for your booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 14 inches deep. It's not that deep, and you can do a ton on it. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely need to get a set of the
There's my latest purchase.
Oh, you got one of those? Yeah, that was tempting. It's
Hey,
any of the
tell you a good ride. Come on.
any of the stuff that all the alcoholic stuff is just such a pain to get in Canada.
Now he's also got a bottle that he made right there.
So oh, that's nice.
And this one is from Search for Spock. It actually has the divisions between the.
That's sweet.
Yeah, but this one's polymer. That one's glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, one of the things we are going to do is start doing actual how-to videos They can be shared throughout the fleet. One of the things we want to do is kind of do it step by step on the MSD to show how easy it is to put it together. Now,
That's
I'm not
great.
going to lie, that's a little bit of an investment.
Well, yeah, it's the design and
If you have a local printer that does it for about what we do, you can get it for as low as what? I think that set up with the cheaper plastic.
This one right here was only, not counting the postage, was only $32.
So with the PVC and the boards for the shelf and the poster at the smaller size, you can probably put the whole thing together for $125.
That's reasonable. I mean, if there's an advantage to being who we are and how we do our funding, the advantage is that because we fund,
you can
bring in income. We can take some of that income and reinvest it in display.
Yeah, a little bit better, like the one that we have that we travel with.
Yeah,
is closer to $200 because it's got the
my little one,
plexiglass.
My little one, is,
yeah,
8-inch plexiglass.
Yeah, and that's the thing. $200 for something that'll pop a display is not a terrible investment for us.
Right.
It's one of those things that will take a little bit of time once we get everything together, and that kind of thing. We'll take a gander at it and get it to set up. Obviously, it probably won't be hard to find a Defiant.
I know a guy. How detailed do you want?
He's already got the Defiant, by the way.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's why he's asking you.
We can talk about it. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. We want it as detailed as reasonably possible for the footage, right?
Okay, so you would want the maximum of 12.5 foot, which can be scaled down to 2 foot and be crystal clear.
Correct. Because I'm that kind of guy.
ID.
Yeah,
I know where it is.
He did it for Justin.
You want the manual on it?
It's fine. It's fine and dandy. It's like the soonest we would be doing it for is for Volcon, because we can get as much space as we want at Volcon.
Would you like the 100-page PDF on the operating and repair manual?
Why would I say no, Drew? I can always make use of it.
I was only being kind enough.
So
I get it, Drew. But I'm like, yeah, we can definitely do it.
I've got 7 panel shots as well. I'll just send you the whole folder.
See, instead of doing the 4 foot in just the MSD, you could do a top view and a side view of the MSD in that 4 foot, and it would look really awesome for that particular ship. What's up, Tim?
Colonel Johns.
Hey, Colonel.
You're muted.
We're shocked.
Oh, man, he was sounding better.
Turn on your sound, please.
He's looking. I can see the wheels. I can see the wheels are turning.
So,
oh, there comes the smoke. He's getting serious. Shit.
So one of the things that we figured out this last con is having the table in front of the booth sucks.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I was in the wrong quadrant. That's why I lost track of time.
If you put your table in front, it blocks people from seeing anything and coming in and actually becoming friendly.
Yeah. Since we sell stuff, though, we kind of like the table in front.
Well, like at Syfy Bartow, our tent was 10 by 20.
Yeah.
And we had 15 by 20.
We have a 10 by 10 that we borrow from one of our members when we do exteriors.
So what we found is that with that size, you can put a table there and a table there for sale items, and you can put these displays, like the MSDs, in back, and you have a perfect display. Plus, you have added goodies.
Now, there is a difference between a sales booth and a recruiting booth. If you're doing a sales booth, yeah, you kind of want stuff up front. But with the recruiting booth, well, if you have space behind the booth where you can do something to pull them in,
Yeah.
it's actually better to do a U.
Yeah. It vastly depends on space used and that kind of thing.
Right.
It really, it is good to see Tim, though.
What?
It is
drunk?
good to see you.
Are you drunk?
Really good to see you, Tim.
No, not yet.
How you holding up, Colonel Tim?
Yeah.
Doing okay. Oh, I had physical therapy today, so I hurt. So
He gave me my first CBD gummy because I've been having my UC's been so bad. I'm trying to find something to help it. And I was going to buy some. So he goes, try this before you go and buy some. Just see if it works. I worked all night. I was in so much pain. Within 30 minutes, I was going, I'm going to go lay down now. I felt good for the first time in a while. But, like I said, difference between your setup, which is, did Mark reset that? No. Difference between your sales booth setup and the recruiting that a lot of people do. With the recruiting, if you have the how you doing, Eugene?
he said, "Gentlemen, who came in?"
Who? Mark Sullivan?
No, he said, "Good evening, gentlemen." Is like, who's he talking to? Who came in?
I guess it's me, you know. But what ends up is that Mark?
Yeah.
What ends up happening with the recruiting booth is somebody stands out in front of the booth and blocks the path so you don't get as many people. Where if you can pull them into the booth a little bit and actually talk to them, sometimes you'll actually get 3 or 4 more people by explaining the displays inside of the booth. And at that con, we had one person basically standing out front and blocking off half the booth. So that's why we kind of didn't like the table itself. So you said you're in therapy still for your wreck that you had a couple months ago?
Yep. At least it's a way to not drive and not get into another one.
Damn. Let me see if I can edit your mic settings. Say something now.
At least it helps to not get any more accidents.
Yeah, that fixed it. I killed the echo on you, and I popped in the automatic, and it popped you right up.
I had an echo.
So we're going to be doing a few different shows. One is the more family friendly after hours chat. like this where we talk about con stuff. We talk about sci-fi coming up. Has anybody seen Picard?
Yep.
No,
I'm a no.
I see it. You got to watch it, man. It's actually a good story.
Hey, I have to spoil one thing for you. You know, they got Patrick Stewart in it playing Picard.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm too behind.
I have to play catch up.
But that's okay.
Have you watched any of them yet, or?
None of the new season.
I think there's only.
I was at site.
4 this week.
I was at Fort McMurray. I was traveling, which is
You
not
play it on
something.
your phone. There's an app for that.
They're going to kill Discovery. This is
What?
one more season. That's it.
Oh, that's long enough for that show.
Hey, you know the way I look at it? When you make us wait 8 and 9 months between episodes,
Yeah.
it ain't worth having.
No, I'll give that. I hate the long breaks in between shows.
I'm hoping the rumors are true that we're going to get some more Brown Coat episodes. I think Netflix picked them up or something, or was it Hulu? One of the two is starting to produce Firefly.
Oh, for the Firefly? That was Netflix.
And
Which would be
then
interesting.
if Amazon gets off their butts, we might see Stargate again. Although they're kind of wishy-washy. They're like Fox of today.
Well, you know.
Well, that could be interesting because of the fact that several of those people are tied up in other series right now too. So
You know,
It was supposed to be a reboot
a buddy
or
of
a later on type deal.
a buddy of mine up in this really cold spot called Canada, who is attached to the group doing that, said they already have 5 episodes in cans. They're just trying to find somebody to put them out.
Oh, Stargate?
Yeah.
I know that
And I said, you just had to tell me that, didn't you? He
Amanda
said, you're a
Tapping
gay
was-
freak, and I know it.
all for it. I
I
know the guy that played all but like Richard Dean Anderson was like all gun ho for it.
I don't know. I just never got into the show for it.
I always think it's funny that there is still an appetite for Stargate because of the amount of stuff that Stargate was able to put out.
Yeah, but think how much Star Wars and Star Trek has been put out.
Yeah, but Stargate did a lot.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They did 17 years.
Yeah, we're not Star Trek's a little more broken up than that. So
Yeah, but then look at Doctor Who.
yeah, well,
54 years or something.
yeah, but
like
that's completely a different kettle.
There was a long gap in there, though.
Yeah, there's several long gaps in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever, right? Like, power to you. You get your Stargate.
Hell, I'll
No
even
skin
put-
off my nose. I don't care.
Let's do Andromeda. Let's do some of the other series. Although I think they kind of messed up Battlestar to make another one.
Can I have my Space Precinct?
Which one?
Space Precinct.
Yeah.
It was a cop show in it was a space cop show. It was quite literally as labeled on tin. It was a space cop show, and I really enjoyed it. And it was really sad that because they made a full season, and it's a pain to get. And I think they only aired 6 episodes of it.
They owe you the rest on DVD at least.
Damn it! And it was out once, but it's one of those things of they did it once and then go find a collector on eBay who wants $200 for it, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I never got into it, but I think people at least deserve another season of Firefly.
I am not going to disagree with that.
Although the funniest thing, so Sean's a Star Trek fan, the guy that does the Sci-Fi Barto.
Mm-hmm.
The point that his truck now has parade ailerons or nacelles, and is wrapped as the Enterprise, and his his RV is the Galileo wrapped. Has parade. So.
How do you dock those?
Huh?
How do you dock those together? I mean, I don't think that'll fit into the other.
The
shuttle into the ship.
On the back of the truck.
Yeah.
But so we called into, or I said it over chat to him. I said, you should think about the next theme being browncoats invade. And he goes, I'm not really too much into Firefly, and nobody's ever told me anything to make me want to watch it. I said, you're a Star Trek fan, right? He goes, yeah. Firefly is the original premise for Star Trek. He went, what? I said,
yep, it is.
It's a space Western. That was what
full-on space Western too.
That's what Star Trek was supposed to be originally. And so then we called into the morning talk show that he was on, asked him that same question. He got it wrong. Then on the day of the show, he got it wrong on stage. I'm like, Firefly. So now me and Drew have to find a weekend to take 10 episodes of Firefly and make him watch the whole damn thing.
Yeah, sit him down and do that.
Because it was like, you can't be a proclaimed Star Trek fan without going, it's Star Trek. It's the original. Come on, it's the spaghetti Western of Star Trek.
It has June in it.
I'll be perfectly honest. It's very much the
no
shiny engineers.
I know.
The first season of Picard really gave the same kind of vibes.
Yes.
It's very sort of like I was amazed at some of the parallels and some of the accents and the way things were, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was neat to see that. I'm a big brown coat.
You're not that big.
I do have a big brown coat because it does fit me. So
I went shopping for a big brown coat recently because not only that, but at the end of summer, I think Barto is going to do a Hogwarts con, like ShriCon.
Oh, okay.
And end of April, Mulberry, another city in Polk County being ran by the same people, are doing a prehistoric con / what is that called? Dang it, my brain didn't
We've
work.
got the Writers' Block Party coming up.
Mm-hmm.
End of summer, a Hogwarts celebration, and prehistoric con.
And it's
These are the four.
just steampunk.
Yes, and then there's the steampunk.
It's steampunk prehistoric.
Oh wow.
And then another city south of Bartow just added to it that wants a con for their city as well.
Cool.
So now these cities have seen what Bartow's been doing, and now each of the cities around us.
They're talking to Winter Haven right now.
Let me guess, Doggy Con?
No, Winter Haven is begging for
No, I want to know what the theme is. That's what I'm trying to find.
Be back in 1 second.
But no problem. But basically what happens is the vendor fees go directly to improving the local downtown area.
Cool.
So whatever they sell to the vendors, that's great. Then you got the cosplayers and charity organizations coming to bring people as well. But just we had 174 themed cars. The 501st, like I said, we had 2 lightsaber guilds that fight with lightsabers were out there. We had a bunch of cosplayers. We had the Daleks, two full functioning Daleks
Wow.
that they were racing up and down the street with.
And one that's stayed under the tent because it's under repair.
Yeah,
And Danny, the one who normally
I
operates,
think that was the one that I threatened to shoot.
kept coming over to our tent because she knows us. And we just sat there talking. It was funny.
I wonder if it's because he has Facebook open on this device. Because it's saying that the device is not connected.
What does it take to connect?
The mic and camera. I think it's because of he's doing it on his phone. He's got to close Facebook, and then he can go into settings to add the cam.
Yeah. So the first celebrity they have announced for Volcon is Emily Coots from Discovery,
Cool.
which is great because I love her character. So it'll be fun to.
Which one was that?
She's the
That's,
navigator. The navigator with the.
Okay, yeah.
Fence. So, so that's their first guest announcement, which I was really happy to see. So for Calgary, we're getting Jonathan Franks. So that'll be fun. I had an interesting, weird sort of thing of because Aston Mont was on his Twitter saying I turned 50 this year, so maybe I'm supposed to find a summer place. And I posted, well, I hear Canmore is good because several Hollywood people have places out by Canmore. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So that was a joke. You know.
Thank
You know what you can
Robin Curtis is the guest for October.
Sorry, Tim?
What did you say, Tim?
You know what all you Canadians really need to do? Take back William Shatner. We don't want him anymore.
Well, we don't want him either.
Y'all made him. You get him back.
Oh, no, we
tried to send him to space. That did happen in
Just
Florida.
like you can really keep Celine Dion.
Hey,
I'd rather have Celine Dion than friggin' Shatner.
I got one thing to say. Florida tried to send them to space permanently.
I mean, realistically, you only have to endure them for another 5 years or so.
Who's that?
William Shatner. We tried to launch him to space.
He's going to run out at some point.
No, Bill's not a bad guy. It's just
Shatner's the reason why we're never going to encounter any kind of aliens in our lifetime. They saw him up there. They're like, oh, is that what we got to deal with? We're not going to come down there.
and all it took was one episode of Star Trek. Man, no, we're not wanting to see that guy.
I somehow think that it was more of Jersey Shore that keeps them away.
Could be that WWE.
No, Jersey Shore is worse.
Right. My wife's gonna kick your ass.
No, Jersey Shore was, I'm going to beat you. And I'm only this tall.
Oh, that sounds like Grease.
I might be pregnant, so you can't hit me.
It definitely
That's
sounds
Jersey
like Grease.
Shore. And nobody's from Jersey, but they're there.
Does anybody admit being from Jersey?
None of the cast was from Jersey.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Actually, a lot of people would admit they're from Jersey. All the ECW.
My dad was on his way to MacDill Air Force Base in Florida because they had transferred him because the Army had changed its name the fourth time and it became the U.S. Air Force. So he left Fort Dix, went up to New York. On the way back across the bridge, headed to Florida. I came up.
That's fair.
So, on top of this show, we're going to do a show called Coffee With. And basically, it's going to be us sitting down with the captains of XOs of different chapters and talking about what makes their chapter special.
And the trials and tribulations of the Center Seat.
And it will be one of those type of shows that after doing it, that chapter could use it as a recruiting for their chapter.
Cool.
So they can take that, download it into a device, and use it as part of their booth display. There, I don't know what the one will be called. It will be like a round robin type deal of COs and XOs and second officers talking about the problems of communication and leadership. Starting to teach how to type thing.
There's a whole bunch of that's classified.
That's classified.
I like to tell you how to do that, but no, that's classified.
So it's that type of thing.
Oh,
And
so it's not.
I have the answer on Tuesday.
Captain, you want to get this one? Okay, Colonel, it's all on you. Go ahead.
I have the answer by Tuesday.
Yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, both colonels are like, nope, I don't get it till Tuesday. I can't.
It'd be funny to have a Tuesday show of things arriving.
There you go. Writing on Tuesday. I love that. I love that.
One of the things we do want to do is shoot the shows in the hour increments so that we can do stuff like that and just load it up to play. One of the shows is going to be called Group Engineering or Group Therapy. Basically, it's going to be building stuff.
How do we make this?
Because for some people, therapy is getting their creative juices going.
How do you locate someone to help make these part of your display?
Stuff like that. So we got.
How do you make uniforms?
So the officers' lounge will be basically the round robin how to deal with.
Well, that and I think
stuff.
the lounge. I think also our lower officers are just as important because we've all heard, all of us that have been with After Dark for anything over 4 months. I've heard 1, 2, or 3 of the, I'm trying to get this started in the ship, but nobody's listening. And that boils down to communication. And you get some of the lower people going about it, and they understand they can reach out and get it going and actually form a unity within the fleet.
Maybe we should call it Captain's Mess.
Captains make a mess. That's what that is.
Well, in the military, there's something called Captain's Mess, where some of the lower enlisted and some of the officers get together at the captain's table and have dinner together.
And talk about some of the issues facing the crew, issues facing programs they need to implement, issues facing, at least that's how it works in the U.S. military.
Well, you saw it in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, several times.
It was a perfect example of what Captain's Mess was. You basically
wouldn't that also have been, without it won't give away too much information, the first episode of Picard 3?
I think so. Yeah, actually, there was. You're right.
Yeah, I think Pike's thing was very informal. Though.
Yeah,
but in comparison, like
what else? The concept. All of us know. I know the four of us hearing it right now, and Eugene I know also is well aware of the fact that we need to grow. We can't not grow. Because if we stop growing, we're going to stop being.
So
none of us are 14 anymore.
Sorry
to say it, guys.
At this con, we had one of our members that had been with us from the beginning. He'd never been able to go to a convention, recruiting thing, nothing. Yeah. He took the day off of work, came out, and that man worked from 6:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, just like us.
Yep, nonstop. And
he helped us set up and then went and helped 10 other booths set up. Yep. That person was the epitome of what a Starfleet officer was supposed to be.
And good. I hope that you recommended him for an award in the appropriate designation.
Well, not one, but okay.
I gave him a promotion, which he doesn't know about yet. And
spoiler alert.
I've already put in an award, and I'm putting in an award for everybody that participated. Let me explain how hard awards are right now. The fact you need the SEC number
and their current email address,
which you can't find if they're not on your ship.
Yes, I actually very much dislike that particular thing.
Now, speaking of I'm going to put it this way. Whoever it is that's doing awards should have the ability to say, I need this SEC number's email address and get it like that. They should have that kind of access.
That should be their access.
Because that's the only way we're going to protect the SFDPP.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to have to either reach out and beg everybody for email addresses, or we're going to have to reach out and become super chums with people that live so far away it's almost impossible unless we're on the phone or in virtual, and then get an email address that we can compare with.
I have 5 more of 20 awards that I'm sending in.
It becomes a cycle where we're actually being blocked out from being able to reach out as one chapter saying, we have worked together, we have busted our backsides together, and this is deserved. But even on a regional level, it's like, nope, you got to have this, this, and this. And since you can't get it, we don't have to look at it. And that may not be the intent. Please do not misunderstand me. But that's the feeling from our side.
No, and I get it, and I understand it, and then I realize that I come from a somewhat privileged, weird sense because I have my own resources because I am.
Please make sure you update your SFDPP if you haven't.
Mine's due in July.
Those that started
you're
from the
mine,
beginning, you're great. Mine was due a month from now. I just finished it today. He watched me do it.
While eating dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. It's quite good.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your show to plug
Well,
this. To
it's
be honest,
important that we of the command level need to know everything we have to protect because our crews depend on us.
You do know you can still find out what their SCC number is without them having to be on your ship, right?
Not the SEC, the email address.
That
Oh, the email. Sorry.
email.
Yeah. Never mind.
yeah. You see,
You're a little
because I have that level up, a lot of that has been provided to me.
Gentlemen, allow me to introduce Mark Sullivan, Ambassador at Large for the Klingon Assault Group.
Good evening, John.
Hi.
Your camera catch up.
What's the subject tonight?
Just a little bit of everything. What we intend to do to show working together with even other groups if necessary. Mark and John and 8 others from the Klingon Assault Group helped us set up all kinds of stuff in preparation for Syfy Barco. We worked very closely together, and it's been fun and it's been fantastic and it's been an education curve. It's really been a learning experience and not a bad one. It's been incredibly positive. I would suggest to any captain preparing for any kind of a con or gathering to get with a group such as TAG or even Claw, because 90% of them are fairly decent guys who just bogged down with rules and regulations. Not that Starfleet would know anything about that. And just say, hey, how can we make this rock together? Because as Mark is so fond of saying, everything changed after Praxis.
Well, I have to admit that we're building better ties with the Swift Hawk here on the USS Chinook, and
well, remember we're at the lowest level. We're all science fiction things.
well, I mean, I'll be honest that one of the highlights, and it looks like they're doing it this year at Old Vulcan before the plague, was something called the Kayla's Throne, which isn't part of the official event, but is part of the tailgate party. Where we drink Warnog out of a toilet. It's fairly simple.
You look, it's a family show right now, right? I have a lot of jokes in my head already.
Yeah, I know. I'm skating the edge even with discussing it, but But it'll be fun to do at Vulcan, especially, and obviously we're looking at some other stuff too. But most notably, we're trying to get on the Calgary Stampede Parade. Where a bunch of us are going to get together for that. So that'll be interesting, mostly because it's televised all around the world. So
yeah,
I mean, there isn't something with quite as much reach in a single event as getting on the world's greatest outdoor show, right? So
Right.
So we're looking forward to that this year.
We have all worked very hard together in Starfleet. Those of us that have had the opportunity to reach out to each other. I think we can become a far better organization by working closer together.
Oh, I agree.
Supporting each other. You know, if case in point, we've got over the minimum to have a chapter. Okay. There's a chapter that we've worked with several days, several events, and they're all good people. And one of them leaves, heaven forbid it be, passes away, whatever. Well, okay, we got the low man on the totem pole that just joined 3 months ago. Let's hook them up with them, and that way we can keep both chapters and we can keep working. It's no skin off your teeth. If you already have your 10 and you've got a number over, take the newest one in, unless he's a family of 20, and plug them in. Let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely something. I mean, because I now have the unusualness of having a.
Thank you.
Because we are now a city here in Calgary with 2 chapters.
Right.
So
How's that going for you?
It's
Ooh.
going whatever. If we
You
both
guys still
do
have winter up there.
They're going to be at Volcon this year, right? Richard Steele, the upper right-hand corner, he's going to be
Okay.
at Volcon this year.
Yep, I am. Virtually guaranteed. It's an hour and a half from my place.
Oh, man, talk about making me jealous.
There's
Mark in all his glory.
Oh, that's awesome, Mark.
Yep, here I am again. Yeah, I'm on a borrowed phone right now.
Oh,
how are you, sir? Anyway, I heard something about Vulcan or Volcon.
Yo,
that's right. It's that time, isn't it?
Yep, it's July, I think, this year.
Oh, hey.
Are you doing an outreach with other chapters, Richard, or just single?
Well, obviously the Calgary, both Calgary chapters are probably going.
Sweet.
And probably some people from the Edmonton chapter, and probably people from the Medicine Hat chapter.
Wow.
So we'll see. We've been trying to get some of the people from the Vancouver and the island to come out to Volcon too. It's not on the cards this year, but we've thought about doing a hybrid virtual regional conference from there. But Vulcan has a couple challenges, one of which is it's a small town and it really could do with a better hotel.
This sounds like a familiar phrase.
So we'll see how it all works out. But
question for you, Brent.
What's up, Mark?
I know they have a representation of the Enterprise, and I heard that the one of the Klingon groups in Canada was trying to raise funds to get a bird of prey. Did they ever get the funds?
I think it's still a work in progress. I'd have to double check with.
Yep, the shipyards are behind. I got it.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
It could be. Yeah,
do as a quirky thing.
Interesting.
As a quirky thing, they don't seem. They almost, if it goes where the bird of prey is proposed to go, they'll actually be at opposite ends of the actual town, like the physical town area.
Oh, that.
So, but
wow.
I don't know if that's actually what they'll end up doing. It could very much be a.
Hey, Richard, do you see the tablecloth on the left?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's 6 foot wide. Do I have to send you one of those?
Yeah, maybe.
We make them.
Oh, wow, you make them.
Well, it's not cheap, I'll tell you.
The iron on the front
Oh, okay.
itself is $41.
Oh, okay. That's
It's a very thick vinyl. It is UV resistant. It is acid resistant. It is soap resistant. It is everything.
if Drew, if you can get me a if you get me a price, I can get it on a docket for purchase.
Well, let's put it this way. Why don't you tell me how you can take whatever the price is once I tell you what it is, because I got to work with my people here, and take that money and give it to a food bank or a homeless shelter or something like that in your area.
It's not a problem. I'll send you the receipt.
I mean, the whole idea is that we work together. I mean, this is part of what Starfleet should do. We should be able to reach out, regardless of where we are, and say, let's make a difference. How can we help?
Yeah, no, I fully support that.
I mean, because I know there are those that'll say, oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, I people give my people will give me a set. How do we put it? Jorge says, I'll give you a set discount plus. You can do this. So that's what I get to work with, and I can talk him back.
Wow.
I think it's more worthwhile that we work together. I think it's more worthwhile that we work together. I mean, because we're all supposed to be Starfleet, right? And who is it? Her name Women. After she got out of jail and put in command of a ship, she said, "But we are Starfleet." Yeah, well, we are. Let's reach out to each other and let's make a difference. And I challenge any other chapter to do the same.
Hey, Mark, just hit the mute button.
Yep, you're fine. Well, I can't.
Okay, speak now.
Okay. Yes. I can't speak for Starfleet, but I know as a Klingon, I've been making the rounds of the conventions, and believe me, they're very happy to have us out there. Anything for Star Trek. Little pass on me. Yes.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. I worked with Kim Diane Crowell, and for most of the history of the feast in Daytona, we were the ones that were carrying it basically, and we would love to start up something like that again. That would be fun.
You see now, Mark and I became friends. What was it, Mark? 2018?
What was that?
In 2018, you and I, Syfy Bartow.
Yeah, Syfy Bartow is a great joint effort. And it sure was.
We've gotten closer and closer and closer together. Mark and Tom,
yeah.
Christine, and there were several. We decided that's it. We're going to show them off, and we're going to make this happen. And both clubs got pluses because we were working together.
Well, everything works runs really well as long as we're working together for the same goal is to have being fun
By the way.
and to make a difference out there.
Right. Trying to find the other photos. But so we talked about each of the things. Did we cover all the shows?
We talked about each of the
The other
all the shows.
The other thing that we were doing is instead of going so late at night, we figured we'd start earlier. So with recording the different sessions for the different episodes, we plan on doing a schedule and actually sending those shows out at different times throughout the week at normal time or earlier times where you can watch them when you want to. And then
Take care, Eugene.
and then you can go about your life and you don't have to stay up till super late to get involved. So what our plans going forward is with that is if we contact a club and they need the later time period, we will come online and do a recording later on and then post it during the regular time because we don't want anybody to have to stay up just to watch the show. And even though I work overnight, I can tell you sometimes it's nice not to be overnight the whole time. So that is one thing that we're going to be working on.
Oh, and by the way, thank you to Mark and the.
Mark.
I can be honest, my fellow CAG members, because I'm in both organizations. Sunday, we're slated to be a fan film. So tomorrow morning, bright and early, well, before usually.
Not it.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Sean, for the Bartow video. That was amazing.
Which one?
The one that was sent this morning.
That wasn't me.
It gave a nice synopsis of the other Sean. Okay.
But I did mention that.
Okay. Well, it was a nice synopsis of.
It opened with us, it closed with us, and
Yeah.
had us at
Well, it was still a nice video, whoever sent it.
Richard's muted himself.
Did you mute yourself, Rich?
Yeah, he's muted himself.
He doesn't want to be heard.
Yes, no, I'm trying to cut down on the feedback.
Yeah. It's the telephone causes a lot of feedback. That's just the phones. That's just. I need to get you a laptop, Mark.
Or a headset.
It's fair.
Actually, I think Michelle's working on that for me.
Okay. But, yeah.
If it'll help, I can go to a headset.
That would help.
It might because we won't be hearing the echo.
Yeah, it should help. Is the
Not a
better-
problem.
We've,
It'll take only a second.
we've been
Yeah, I'll make it easier on you guys.
learning a lot together, sharing our skills, technical information, and the real benefit
And-
of that, all of us have been growing in process.
How's that, guys?
Much better. How about you, Rich?
Yeah, no, better.
So you're only hearing me once. Cool, that works.
So, like I said, the one thing we want to do is
Is that any better?
Yes, a lot.
Much
A
better.
lot.
Okay. Is
Unfortunately,
that
they
any
don't
better?
give-
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
they don't give me enough echo cancellation.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me?
Perfect. Can you hear
We
us?
can hear you. Can you hear us?
Mark,
Okay.
can
How's
you hear
that?
us?
Mark, can you hear us?
Wondering. There we go. How's that?
Okay.
You can hear you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we can hear you.
Good job.
Very
We're
good.
going to, we're going to continue our initial endeavor, and that is to bring our local chapters, and I refer to locals within 100 miles, closer together and help the entire fleet grow. And I've said something a million times, and everyone thinks I'm nuts. If everyone in the fleet, and this is nothing against CAG, because CAG can do it too, if everyone just brought in one new
Mhm.
member, size would double. Think about that. Just one person.
Mm-hmm. That's all it
Yeah, no,
takes.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Well, we got a little over 6,000 people in here. You want 12,000 in the next 6 months? Everyone push for it. Just bring in one person.
I know, at least on my side for CAG, I usually, if I don't have a table for an event, what I do is I just I get a pocket full of the CAG keychains, and it has the website. And usually, when somebody asks me to get a picture, I say, "You can take the picture, but there is a price." And they're
Yep.
saying, "What's that?" Simply go to this website. All questions will be answered, and it's free. And I explained to them that's the world's largest Star Trek costuming group. In other words, you don't have to betray your ship, your house, or your family, or your race, and get pretty positive responses out of that.
I'm a member of CAG. I just don't do as much as I could.
Not a problem. You're doing
Yeah,
just
we got
fine.
what you got here. Gotta get what you got here.
That's what happens when you end up joining when you join an organization, take a leadership role. You know, some of these other memberships, you're sort of like, yeah, I'm a member on paper.
Yeah. A number of years ago, I was a lion, and I get it. There are people that will do it, and then there are people that just come get the meal, and that's it. But no, the people shouldn't restrict themselves just to a Comic-Con or anything. There's all kinds of conventions. There's horror conventions, fantasy conventions, anime. No kidding. And just be your character. You'd be amazed.
Our local anime convention is the May long weekend that we have in Canada. And I did not know why they keep doing it, but they keep doing it on that weekend, even though that weekend is the weekend that they shut down the transit in downtown and they have the con downtown.
Ouch.
So like you can get there by bus, but the C train route that's when they did one of their 2 track maintenances of the year. The other one is Labor.
Oops.
So I've never understood why they keep doing it, but it's a big hindrance for my ability to go specifically to that con. Because it's just like, no, it's not worth the headache of me having the shuttle bus on 9 and try and figure out, okay, so where does this shuttle bus go when I come back? But whatever. Minor quibble about something that very local to me. But your idea is completely.
I get it, man. That's like they've got a collector card show with a ton of voice actors right here in Kissimmee starting well, let's see. Actually it started today and it's running through Sunday, but the kicker is can't be everywhere, you know?
Well, I mean, and when I lived in Toronto, the biggest thing was that they like to have their science fiction con out by the airport, which is not conducive to easy travel by transit in a manner that made any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
As soon as you're starting to travel 3 hours,
you'd think they would have held it downtown.
I don't know. I don't understand specifically.
I understand.
Unless they expect most of the people to come through the airport.
I've always heard from people understand several degrees of removal here, but I've always heard that part of it was it was easier on the guests and the actors to stay at the airport at one point, and then it became established, and then once it became established, they never thought about changing it.
Right.
So, because it's an old con now, it's 30 or 40 years old now.
Now I'm going to depress Mark because I know he hates going out and meeting people. I've been working with the folks in Lakeland about.
Yeah, it's traumatic, man. It's horrible.
Yes, I know. I've been working with the folks at Fun and Sun.
Hold on, feedback.
Shut that thing on.
Damn quantum singularities.
Okay. I've been talking to the guys at Fun and Sun about us having it set up there. The whole group most of the group that was at Syfy Bartow. You know what I mean, Mark. So
right. I sure do.
I mean, I think this would be a great way for us to be around aircraft and make a difference.
Absolutely. It's for the fandom, man. It's for the fandom.
That's what I'm thinking. And they're going to have a group out there that's they're looking for groups that work with vets, homeless people, and stuff like that, and want to give them some help. And I'm like, hey, I know the perfect groups right here. So which one is it? We are vets. We deal with the homeless. What else you want to know?
Yep.
We've almost been on an hour and a half, and we were shooting for an hour.
No, it's been an hour. Wait, I'll be damned. Yes.
Yeah. Drew can tell time.
Well, it's not easy, not hard. All I have to do is look up there and it says 1 hour, 20 minutes, 25 minutes and 32 seconds, 33,
I-
34, 35.
I have a there's a funny thing on my ship. We have a number of Canadian Legion members.
Hello, fellow Glenn. Well,
The really funny part is that the Canadian Legion members that are not actually veterans
Right.
outnumber the Canadian Legion members that are veterans.
Usually.
It's quirky, but like
Mhm.
The auxiliaries, for some reason, normally do. When I was the chaplain for the American Legion in Tigard, Oregon, the Sons of the Legion, and none of them were veterans, were 4 times the number of the veterans. So,
Here's some more pictures, real quick.
that's one of our buddies.
And me in my Klingon outfit.
Indeed.
Oh,
Wrong way, George. Vader on a transporter.
Who is that guy in the? Yeah.
that's our
Yeah. Who is that?
photographer.
that
That's Vader and our photographer.
is a
Mhm.
that's a very shiny hat.
Yeah, you think?
Jedi with phaser rifle.
Yes, there's our favorite Jedi right there. She is awesome.
Mhm.
I'll
Man.
know who that is.
There's our Mark, and
But I can tell you that chair behind them
That's-
weighs
that's-
too much.
That's Wayne Curran.
it's 2x8s. Of course, it weighs too much.
Yeah.
There is a picture, I don't know where I have it, of Vader on
That chair,
the
yeah.
thing.
Oh, it made it to one of the videos.
And the one
Yeah. Yes, it did.
the one Klingon sitting there looking at him like, how rude. Get out of my chair. And then the next picture, she looks like, all right, I can deal with this. And then that's the other Klingon that's in the picture, the one that's doing the lore speaking. And then on stage, there's like a lot of pictures of us on stage.
Who was that, Mark? That's not Carrie.
No.
Carrie.
No.
That is Carrie.
That's
Carrie.
Carrie.
That's
Carrie.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
Carrie.
that's
Kim was the other lady that was there. They
On
and
this screen,
they're
I think,
they're
yeah,
people.
that one, it's easier for me to
They're
see.
old.
Yeah.
They're old friends from the feast days. From Claw.
But basically,
I know them both.
they got added
Yeah.
a Klingon singing half hour.
Yeah.
And nobody knew about it until we got there.
Yeah.
And so we did. She read from The Art of War.
Well, it's the stories of Kalis the Unforgettable.
Yeah.
And basically, she was reading stories of Kalis. That'll get people's attention. Trust me.
Basically, she's like, I don't know what we need to do, and
You have barcode 23 on your face.
I'm just glad I brought the book.
But
Yeah.
so me and him are like, well, we can be your guards. Let's go. And
Absolutely.
instead of doing 30 minutes, we did like 15. And nothing was rehearsed. Yep. We all got on there and then started stomping to get everybody's attention. And it actually worked out pretty good. So,
well, there you go.
And as you see, I've got my camera for taking pictures. And I think there's a walkie-talkie in there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to find out at the last minute, the law enforcement asked the event to change channels.
And didn't tell us.
Because apparently every time we heard feedback, which was on our radios, it was actually PD talking to the sheriff's office.
Oops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's
they
no
didn't
good.
have a chance to tell everybody to change the channels, and I had 6 radios. I am so glad only 3 made it off the area.
Yep.
That
I
is.
mean, that's always interesting, but I mean, it vastly depends on your radio systems, right? So
Yeah.
they don't
Pretty
get,
much.
they
it
don't
was
get
how
that in
close they
Vulcan
were to
because they're RCMP, and in Canada, the RCMP have bands of.
Well, the problem was our radios were too close to the antennas for that channel to go without interference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we kept getting, when they finally asked them, do you know what's going on? And they literally walked to the corner and looked up on top of the building. And said, you see that cluster of antennas? That's what's going on. You need to be at this channel. But then we only had 3 hours of the show left. So it was
3 hours of the
Yeah,
show.
it was pretty much.
hey, we did good.
We got there at 6:30 in the morning and left at 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
That's
Me, an extra 41 minutes to drop, 21 minutes to
Right.
drop Brian off. Mike had an extra 29 minutes to drop Mark off. We had, it was fun. Can't wait to do it again. And at the same time, can we build a shuttle between now and then?
So
That
now
would be
we're
nice,
looking-
sir.
What we're seriously
We need to get
looking
those
for
transport.
is a donation of like a 6 or 7 by 30 trailer that we can cut one wall off and make it a hinge door,
yeah.
so that we can do like a shuttlecraft display up front and like a room bed in the back for picture ops, and have everything stored in so we can just pull it out.
You know, when you open it up, you're looking at the inside of a runabout.
And not have to pack everything,
Mhm.
because packing all that stuff takes forever.
Because with touchscreens, you can have so much of it. I mean, just buy tablets and set other things up. As long as you got power, bing, bing, bing,
I'm
bing,
not
bing,
worried
bing.
about the power. I'm talking about having all the displays put together so that it don't take an hour to put everything together.
Oh, it's totally bad. Where did that piece go? Oh, it must still be in my trunk.
Now, I gotta say, working with people that don't do stuff
That don't do stuff.
and having to instruct them on which way the pole corner goes is interesting.
Nobody's perfect.
Y'all
I-
put the pole corner 3 different ways.
5 different ways, but who's counting?
So one of the things we have something called Artemis, which is a bridge simulation shareware program that we have computers for. Our setup is color coded, and the cat cords are color coded.
That's smart.
And it's a nerve bundle. So like you go to set it up, and it's like put it down, and like the stations can only go in a certain order because of the fact that it's just like that's how it's bundled. It is bundled and tied.
How many
into a
times did
bundle.
that get put wrong?
Not many, because we realize we don't. If you don't do it right, it doesn't fucking work. So
So it happened at least once after you color coded
yes, it did. But yeah, it's an interesting, quirky thing. We're right now just buying cases for it, because the current Bridge 1 system is the monitor and the micro PC is bolted to the back of it.
Nice.
So it's basically a 1 unit thing, and we can buy this case for monitors that will cover
Oh, so
both.
they made the original all in one.
So the only thing is then we lug keyboards and mice separately,
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
but otherwise works pretty good.
So the one thing that Drew did do was, instead of me having to bring my laptops every week,
Yeah.
he found a guy that refurbished laptops
refurbishes, upgrades, and then sells it.
And he got a touchscreen laptop that we can use like a tablet with LCARs on it.
The LCAR's 47, so we've got the full crew of the ship and pictures and
That's
bios
nice.
And then we have our new broadcast setup over here.
Yeah, I
Both
have
of
to.
them are i7, so
I know that we have a touch screen kicking around in the collection. I just don't know. I don't know if we're still using it for Bridge 1.
well, this particular one flips over into a tablet.
Oh, you have one of the combo ones. Where it's
Yeah.
laptop tablet.
Right.
Yep.
It's actually meant for businesses. That's what it was made for.
I am familiar with it. I toyed with the idea of getting one at one point, but then realized that it wasn't worth the effort at the time. But definitely something to look at as a possibility.
And for bringing it to an event, it's perfect. You can set it down, and if somebody's looking, oh, well, what happens if I touch that? When you touch that, a whole new screen changes. Or it says Starfleet Command, unauthorized entrance. Like, oh, Will, what did I touch? Oh, bad boys.
Yeah. No, I
can run over to the other table, click the red button, and up comes a Klingon bridge.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, I should maybe cruise Marketplace and see if I can find one of those switch tabs.
So, you think first and third Friday for this show?
Sure.
Sounds fine.
So I'll start posting first and third.
Yeah.
I didn't put it this first time on members only, but I'll advertise it on members only. But as we set up a Facebook page, we set up a new YouTube setup for it.
Yeah.
So I'll advertise it for that Facebook group. If you want to.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, just you said the word YouTube, and despite the fact that I've been looking at a YouTube tab for the last several hours, I just realized that I promised my ship to put something on our ship page on Sunday and then forgot to do it.
Oopsie, I didn't do it.
Not Sunday yet.
It's not Sunday yet.
No, last Sunday I said I would do it.
Oh.
Oops.
Well, we definitely didn't do it. We were
just hop in the ship. We'll take it around the planet, and we'll do it last Sunday.
Well, it's one of those quirky things of because I was traveling the very next day for work. I meant to do it when I got home, then didn't do it, and then consequently it became a bit of a festival of, oh yeah, right, that thing.
We need to get together and make a working Brielle class bird of prey and get enough people from here to fly up to Volcon and just land that bird and say, "Can we stay for the show?"
Problem is the F-22s that we have to deal with. They shoot down UFOs now.
No, they shoot down balloons that they label UFOs.
With a sidewinder. They didn't use a measly cannon. They used a sidewinder.
Well,
all right.
That's because they learned from us because we tried using a cannon.
Okay. We will go
Yeah, no, they used a sidewinder because of, two reasons. One, they wanted to get the intelligence, so they wanted it to sort of actually like have something scavengeable, and you can't control what you're hitting with a cannon because you're just sort of right. But
just let fly.
Yeah, so in Canada, I think it was 98. We had a similar instance with a similar kind of balloon. Also potentially from China. And we were trying to shoot it down with cannons, and it didn't work. It basically just didn't work because it just wouldn't poke enough holes into it that it would deflate in a manner that would matter at that altitude. Like at that altitude, it was just like, yeah, that's just not really going down, is it?
But, the U.S. could have just told the Air Force, okay, you want to swing a warthog up there and say bye-bye to that balloon?
Yeah, well,
2 seconds with that gun and there'd be no balloon.
yeah, but from what I guesstimate, based on the people that I've talked to, they wanted to get the box attached to said balloon to be relatively intact. And the A-10 would just shredded everything.
It wasn't a balloon. It was a UFO.
Keep telling yourself that.
And they were all afraid that Elvis was coming back.
That's a reasonable thing to be afraid of.
Elvis will be riding the Loch Ness Monster while eating a banana and bacon sandwich
with Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
In Imelda Marco's shoes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have to admit that comment reminds me of the bacon, peanut butter, and banana sandwich that I've learned about from some radio station. And there is no bread. You weave the bacon into a basket, or not into a basket, but like in a basket weave. You fry the bacon. Then you put the peanut butter and peanut butter and bananas in between, using the bacon as bread.
See, now that doesn't sound bad, but I can't eat I have the opposite problem.
It's surprisingly tasty.
I have the opposite problem of most human beings. Most human beings like no potassium, no potassium, no potassium. You need to eat. My body's like, I need 100, so I'm going to create 700. And if I eat a banana, I'm sick and weak and for a day and a half.
You basically get some form of potassium poisoning.
Yeah, I get overdone on potassium. When they did my heart surgery, the first thing they did was they did blood work to find my potassium level. And the doctor says, if you've been eating a lot of bananas, I just laughed at him. I said, I can't eat bananas because my blood potassium's too high. He said, that's obvious.
Yeah, I had a stint where my iron levels were too much, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, cut out the red meat," and I'm like, "Well, sure that shit wasn't me getting spinach."
Well, we're gonna have to call it. Yeah,
that's fair.
I do know for a fact, Mark and I have a very early day tomorrow.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
They're driving to Georgia to be.
We're driving
Klingons.
to Georgia. We're going to be the original series Klingons in a fan production.
Cool.
Yes.
And that just happens. This is a fan weekend.
Even better.
If I remember correctly.
I thought so. I think that's what Ray sent me, but.
Yeah, so that means that Vic and Chuck will be there. That's Kirk and Bones.
Right.
Bucket list, check.
Well, I hope you guys.
That will be fun.
You all have fun.
Well, I'm hoping Chuck.
It will be fun. Indeed.
Yes.
Thank everybody for tuning in, and live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.